attention. Take a look at these 6 colored dots. What do you see? They're moving in a circle, right? Now focus on just one dot. Say, the blue one. Are you looking at just the blue dot? What do you see now? Is it moving in a straight line, back and forth, across your screen? Okay, look at all the dots again. They're clearly moving in a circle. Now check out the red dot. Is it also moving in a straight line? We didn't change anything. So how can the dots be moving 2 different ways at the same time? Want to know why your brain just led you down the wrong path? Stick around. This is a show about your brain and influence.
Oh, we was just doing it because everybody else was doing it.
We're going to mess with your mind.
It's mental. It's crazy.
As we put you through a series of games and experiments designed to show you why a yawn is so contagious, how imitation leads to flattery, and why your brain thinks it's a born leader
That worked out pretty well.
when it's really a born follower.
Stop controlling me. Stop.
It's time to follow the leader on Brain Games. Most of us like to think of ourselves as unique, one-of-a-kind individuals. But the truth is, much of what you do, say, and think is influenced by other people. Like every time you watch a viral video online, use a review to choose a restaurant, or buy a product simply because it's popular. Not only are you heavily influenced by other people's opinions, but you also tend to copy their actions. Take a look at this. Whoa. Did you just wince at someone else's pain? Now watch this. There's a good chance you're smiling now, too. You just couldn't resist.
Whether you're conscious of it or not, you're often influenced by other people. But that's okay, because you also influence others, who influence others, who influence you back. It's like one big game of follow the leader, and it's enough to make you question who you really are. Looking good, man. You too, buddy.
Let's take another look at this amazing illusion created by Arthur Shapiro and Alex Rose Hennig of American University. What do you see? A bunch of dots that all seem to be moving in a circle, right? Now just look at one dot. This time, the yellow one. What's it doing? Is it moving up and down in a straight line? If we take away all the other dots, you can see that that's true. But when we add them all back, the dots begin spinning in a circle again. Weird, right? In fact, if we add lines to our image, you can clearly see that all of the dots are moving in straight lines. So why does your brain see the same dot moving in 2 completely different ways? What's going on here? Your brain can't take in all 6 individual paths of the dot at once, so it composites all of them into one single motion. And you see a spinning circle. With an overload of information, your brain just led you astray. Maybe you'll have better luck in our next game. Take a look at this pair of eyes. All you have to do is follow my simple instructions. Ready? Stare directly into her eyes. Easy enough, right? Good. Now look at the left edge of your screen. Now look at the right edge of your screen. So did you look where we told you to? Or did you find yourself looking in the direction she was looking, the exact opposite of our instructions?
So what's going on here? Why is it so hard to resist following another person's eyes?
Looking where someone else is looking is called the deictic gaze. Humans, dogs, and some other animals use it to draw attention to a particular object. This was helpful when hunters wanted to point out prey to others without calling attention to themselves. It's also a way of looking out for danger because whatever they're looking at might also be coming for you. And as you'll see in our next game, it's important to stay alert.
Pay attention. For this next game, we're going to flash an image on screen for 3 seconds. Afterwards, we're going to ask you a few simple questions about what you saw. Ready?
Okay, let's see if you were paying attention. What tool was the man looking at? Easy, right? The hammer. And do you remember what color the hammer was? If you said red, good job. You've got keen eyes. And what was the man's reaction to the hammer? Did you say he was smiling? Correct. But can you name the other 5 tools in the picture? Chances are you can't. You might remember 1 or 2 other tools, but there's a good chance you focused primarily on the hammer. But why? It's because the man was looking at the hammer, so your eyes instinctively went there too. And most likely, after seeing the hammer, you looked back at the man to see what he thought of the hammer, taking in his facial expressions and body language. In other words, because the man only seemed interested in the hammer, you were too. Following a person's gaze can help identify what they're thinking or feeling, allowing you to predict how they might react in the near future. Babies as young as 6 months old can do this because it's a reflexive action your brain is hardwired to do. Information taken in by your retina is passed along to different parts of your brain that control attention. Eventually, the information winds up in your amygdala, your brain's danger detector, which determines if what you're seeing is a threat or not. So far, you've seen how another person's eyes can hijack your attention, but can simply looking at someone else's face cause a physical reaction? You're about to find out in this next game. Take a look at this, and in a moment, we'll ask you a question about it.
Admit it. How many of you just yawned? And if you managed not to, how many of you feel a yawn coming on that you're desperately trying to suppress? Don't worry, we won't be offended. Go ahead and yawn.
Spontaneous yawning is a reflexive behavior that originates in the lower half of your brainstem called the medulla oblongata, an area dedicated to regulating automatic functions like breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure.
When you see someone yawn, it's a signal to your brain that you should yawn too. In other words, yawning is contagious, and your brain is nearly powerless to stop it.
Some experts believe that yawning evolved as a social signal to indicate to the group that it was time to get to sleep. It was a way for everyone to sync up and stay on the same schedule. As it turns out, getting someone to yawn is pretty easy. But getting someone to like you, now that's a little bit tougher. Or is it? For this next experiment, we're at the Liberty Science Center. These volunteers think they're here to take a brief survey. But we're really here to see if people can emotionally connect with an avatar.
Hello, my name is Al.
Hi, Al.
Do you think it's possible for a computer to make friends? Could you be friends with an avatar?
Do you consider yourself a fan of movies?
I'm a huge fan of movies.
Yeah, I would consider myself a movie fan.
I do consider myself a fan of movies, yes.
How often do you go to movies?
I'd say at least once every 3 weeks, for sure.
I would say I go to movie theaters maybe once or twice a month, about.
What is your favorite movie?
Jerry Maguire. I don't know, something about it just makes me happy. Maybe it's my football days.
Harry Potter, like all 7 of them.
Thank you.
Thanks.
While the participants engage with Al, it doesn't look like he made any real friends. Why do you think that is? We're going to bring our participants back in for another round of questions. Now, we've made some adjustments to the software and created a slightly different avatar called Bob.
Hi, my name is Bob.
Let's see how they react to Bob. Think Bob will do any better than Al?
Do you consider yourself a music fan?
I do listen to a lot of music.
Huge music fan. Love all things about music.
If you could be the lead singer in any band, what would it be?
If I was the lead singer, I don't think the band would be very good.
I would totally have my own band. I would low-key be like my own little rock star with my afro and make it a little bit current so everybody can just rock out dubstep, two-step, Dougie, you, Soulja Boy, whatever they do now.
Thank you.
Thanks, you're welcome. Okay, bye.
Okay, time to make a choice. Who do you prefer? Is Al your pal, or would Bob get the job? We bet you'd prefer Bob. So what is he up to? Why is Bob such a charmer? The answer might just blow your mind.
I grew up with 3 brothers, so I figured, hey,
often do you go to movies?
But we really want to see if they can make friends with an avatar. Do you think it's possible? First, they met Al.
Do you consider yourself a fan of movies?
Then, it was Bob's turn.
Do you consider yourself a music fan?
So who would you rather be friends with?